so crazy.
What's up,
everybody? We're
Welcome
back and
back.
we're late, but we're here.
Look, I got all high pitched. Let me calm down. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone.
You are so silly.
I need to start remembering that stuff. Hi, everyone. How are you? Welcome back.
Oh my goodness.
D City Life Sisters. We have missed y'all.
Yes. I forgot we skipped last week. That's right.
We are so excited. Yeah, man. What have you been up to? We just kind of had this conversation, but what do you want to tell the people about what you've been up to in this world?
So first I want to say definitely check the description below and make sure you follow my sister. Yes, I am a unicorn. I said that wrong. Yes, I am a unicorn. And also follow my other page by Demeter Joe. It is where I help women to create healthier habits through fitness and mindset. So
yes.
Anyway.
I love it. Yes,
definitely do that. But other than that, I've had a busy week. Work has been working, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I've also been trying to do, build my own business on the side, and everything is just busy. Okay.
Hey, Mocha.
Hey, Mocha. Mocha. Okay. Shout out to Mocha Mima, because Mocha Mima has a channel, and I was watching her recap of Summer House. I watched it, and I was like, another review made me remember that I needed to go watch it, and I was like, I have to catch up.
You know what's funny? You're gonna be hooked when you get into it, because it's one of those things that, and it's so funny because it happens like that all the time. And Bravo is so good about sucking people in, but like when I think it was Ellen that first said like, "Oh, you gotta watch Summer House," and I think I had already seen the first episode or something like that at the time, and I was like, "Yeah," but I wasn't really necessarily like into it, like, "Oh, I gotta come back and watch." I think it was maybe like the second or third episode that I was like, "Oh man!"
And so, what episode is it on now?
Oh, I know that
I can binge it.
Let me go see. Yeah, you definitely gonna binge it because it's that good. Okay. I know that I have seen at least 6 episodes. It's got to be like 6 to 8 episodes. Like, let me go and look right now.
Mocha says she loves the show. They need a reunion. Listen, everybody that likes reality reviews, go check out Mocha's channel, because she definitely is consistent in updating you on stuff that she's watching. So definitely check her out. I have to catch up on the show. Like, I really
like, here's the thing, and I'm not going to say too much, but I appreciate this season of Summer House because I've seen Summer House in the past, and it's a bunch of white people. No hate or shade against white people, but you guys have enough stuff and opportunity. So when this season came up and they were all Black people, I was like, oh, this is interesting. And oh yeah, there's a lot going on there. But when I saw this season, I was immediately like, oh, okay, these people are all Black. Like, how'd that happen? And it was great, and I liked it, and I started to get people's personalities, and then some stuff started to happen, and I was like, oh, it's wild. But I mean, like, I love a good Black reality show when people aren't ratchet, they're just having fun, or like I'm nothing against ratchet, because ratchet is entertaining, but I like it also when people are more, like, I don't know,
regular.
I don't know what it is. These people are the wrong word too. I would say regular, but ratchet could be regular to some people.
Yeah, people that I get what you're saying.
But I really enjoy it, and I love to see these conversations. And that's one of the real things that I love about reality show is that brings up conversation. Oh, Mocha, honestly, you're not really missing that much.
I knew you were going to say that.
It's cool. It's not bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like it's like the real world. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, that's what it reminds me of. It's like the real world, like the original. But I like this Black cast, and I like their personalities, and I could see myself hanging out with them. Like, they're just cool, and they all have their own different personalities, and I like to see that. So anyway,
I'm keeping me a little in that.
Yeah, Mocha, you right about that.
The first thing we're going here is watch Summer House. So I got to do that, and I need to catch up on the reality shows that we watch.
Mocha is right about this. These people are classy, bougie, and a little ratchet.
Okay, all right. I feel like
they are. They're a little bit ratchet, but they're still classy. They're classy ratchet. They're classy. I love it. Okay, anyway. So yeah, guys. I've been doing good too. I've been just like enthralled in work. We just had a big like get together last week with our staff, and it was really fun, and we had such a good time. Like literally, oh, it was so fun. I got to tell you about that offline. It was so fun,
yeah. Because I already got some questions in my head for some people that I know that you work with.
It was
and one in particular I want to know about. So I'll definitely make sure I ask you that.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'll tell you a little bit. We did karaoke.
Oh,
and the president of our organization did a couple songs, and it made my life. I didn't know I needed it. It was funny. It was like, huh?
Did you sing something?
Yeah, I did.
I was about to say.
Of course I did. Of course I did. And people were saying in the all staff later, they were like, "Oh my God, that was like the highlight of the whole week." And I was like,
what
you guys.
What did you sing?
I brought my other coworker over there because we do payroll.
Yeah, and I was the one that you were in the video with?
No, not her. Okay. We did something else. Maybe people like that too, but I do payroll along with this other coworker of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, I really wanted to do this song, and I was scared that she wouldn't come up there with me because she's kind of like reserved or whatever. Bitch Better Have My Money by Rihanna. Yeah. Let me just tell you something. She's pretty reserved, like mild or whatever. When I was like, can you please come up here? She was like, she had these sunglasses. She put her sunglasses down. She came on the stage. Yo, that show was wild. And like I was doing like most of the singing, so I was like carrying the tune and stuff. But I would look over at her, and she was just a ball of energy.
She was the perfect hype man.
What in the world is happening? It was so good. It was so good.
But anyway. You know what? I will say, as a person who's gone to karaoke with you thousands of times, you are good at putting a person's like name on the list or picking a song that they can actually be like, okay, I can rock with this. You know what I'm saying? So you did good. You did good. But I was gonna say, you didn't get up there and sing. I was gonna be like, why in the world? But okay.
Yeah, of course I did.
Okay,
yeah.
So have you?
It is good to see coworkers loosen up. Oh no, some of us got drunk, but it was a good drunk. Nobody did anything like
some ridiculous. Of us.
And so a lot of my coworkers
in that number.
After I went up, because I'm like a karaoke, like I don't know what to call it. I'm like a karaoke connoisseur or something. So as soon as I got up there the first time, like a lot of my coworkers were like, come up with me. So right, and they're like, sing the hook of my song. So then somebody wanted to, these two hilarious people that I work with wanted to do Vapors by Biz Markie, and they were like, we just want you to sing the hook, and you know the You Got What I Need, right? Was that? No, that's not Vapors. It's You Got What I Need.
Yeah, but but it's the same person. Yeah,
it was hilarious. Anyway, okay, so back to our show. It was so fun, and then I found out a couple of my coworkers can sing, and then we were like, okay, we have to go to karaoke together. Like that's what we're doing now. You know what I'm saying? So it was fun. It was really fun. But
that's what's up.
Anyway, so that was last week, but then this week was like catching up because like I had to. We had like there was so many things that I had to like set up and execute, right? So like it was just a busy week of like making sure things were in place, that things worked and stuff like that. So now that's over and we're back to like the regular, chaos. And so, but I'm grateful that there's not like a stacked,
Oh my goodness, that's how I felt 2 weeks ago because it was leading up to this big thing that's happening, and then it was other things happening right in between, like other events that weren't happening. And it was just like I couldn't even like really think about them all together in the succession of 2 weeks. I had to be like, okay, let's think about this. All right, let's think about this now. Okay, now we knocked that up. So now I'm at the last thing. Tomorrow I need 2 things to happen. Okay, so.
Let me just say this other thing, which is which I just really want to impart upon you, but also other people who are listening, take from it what you will. I had a special moment with one of our executive team members where we got to sit down and talk. And it was one of those meeting in the minds conversations where you're just sitting there and you can just imagine these like pieces of glitter or something in the air. It's just like your mind is open and their mind is open and you're just feeding each other back and forth. And I haven't had one of those conversations with her before. So it was just kind of like like, wow, like we've had somewhat conversation. I can't say I've never had a conversation like that before, but this was a different one because you know how me and you'll sit there and we'll almost finish each other's sentences, and it's like, but what, you know, you're taking an idea and then they have an idea and then you meet the ideas and then you're like expounding off of that idea and you're like, well, what if that's not even true? What if it's this? And what if we were all the way into it? And it was like, wow. And out of the conversation, I realized that, like, okay, I'm giving a lot to this organization, which I'm glad to be able to hold a job doing something that I really like to do. But I also recognize that, like, oh, I'm valuable to this organization because I'm giving them so much of me. And then when I go home, it's like I rest. Or I think, or I'm like, oh, well, I don't know if I can do such and such and such, but I never question whether I can do something at my job. And so it just dawned on me that, like, they're getting my juice. I'm giving them my juice, which is great. You know what I'm saying? Like, the juice is flowing, but like, I also need to give myself some of the juice. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have this overflowing sense of like creativity and problem solving and you know figure out ability or whatever. And I'm not wasting it there. It's helping. Like, I'm sharpening my skills, but I also need to bring that to my own personal projects. Like, it is a necessity because with purpose behind the energy and the creativity and the skills. And so here's another thing, because I mean, listen, we done had jobs for 30 years more, but the skill set that I've now acquired over these last 30 years of working, it's like I'm ripened. You know what I mean? Like, I'm such a good thinker, and like I can solve a problem like you wouldn't believe. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm
like,
oh,
so this is going wrong and this is happening over there and da 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 da, and put me in that room. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh shit. Like, I could use this for something else. You know what I mean? Like, it's great that I can hold a job with this, but I also have to recognize that this is a gift that I need to bless myself with in my own projects. So I thought that was interesting because I had looked at it in a different way this week, because I was getting, not even like I was getting props. I get props sometimes, it's okay, but I started to see that, like, oh, people are using my brain and my gifts for their projects, and that's great. I'm glad to be able to exchange money. You know, I'm glad to be able to exchange my talent for a check. Right. But I also recognize that
what if you did the same thing for yourself, to other things, for your own business? You know what I'm saying? Because you're right. I would dare to say I move mountains for my job.
Yeah.
They just know that they have something that they've thrown out that they want to happen. And then I'm over here, you know what I'm saying, mixing shit, and I'm, you know what I'm saying? Yes. And voila, here you go. And then when it's time to work on my own business, I'm running out of steam. I'm too tired to really understand what the hell I'm reading. You know, I haven't studied or whatever, but I make these things happen. So it's like, why can't I take that? I need to take that and like put some of that over here. And I'm realizing now that I actually can do that. But yeah. That was right on point.
Okay, so that's just a little thing I wanted to share. I don't know where that came from, but I'm glad that it blessed somebody. Okay, so we're going to get into these topics, guys. Listen, we are back. Ready to Love is about to start airing July 7th. I'm going to go ahead and share this. If I could just move it. So Ready to Love moves to Dallas for season 8.
Now, you know, Kamisha is in Dallas. Okay, so it's in her city. She already started dropping, like, you know, little things that she's, you know, gets a hold of, because she be finding out stuff. So she has revealed some of the cast Instagrams, so we can follow them. And apparently one of the girls has already posted something about like the process, I guess, or whatever. So Kamisha did a video about that. But they had said that it was going to come back on Thursdays at first, because I saw a post. That must have been a mistake, because now they're saying Friday. It's still Friday. So
okay.
So yeah, but I couldn't find the whole cast on the site I normally find them on. So I just saw that big the one picture. But one thing I can say about this picture, though, I got to go back and look at the other ones, but it seems like they're all closer in this one. Maybe it's because it's more of them there, because a lot of people were missing from the last season's group photos, but I feel like they look nice. I feel like, and seeing, did you watch the teaser yet on OWN's site?
I did not. Now, we know
like 30 seconds or something, but I think they're going to bring it.
We know, too, that they typically take this cast photo at that first function.
Mixer, yeah.
Right? And then they be bringing in mad people after the fact, like, oh, wild card. So that could be it. But I don't know. I feel like I can see some people's personalities through this photo.
So look, right, you gotta watch the teaser. It's like 30 to 60 seconds or whatever, but there's a guy on there that's into like dominatrix. But I think the cast as a whole looks good. Well, I'm gonna say I think the women look good. I haven't looked at to see what the men look like yet, like closely or whatever. Yeah. But I think that from the little teaser, it looks like they're gonna be spicy. So we'll see what happens with that.
In the past, it seems like I've gravitated towards the women's personalities more so than the men. Like at first, because especially like when I first started watching it in, I think it was the DC episode, and I was like, these women are great. Like, I would be friends with these women. Like, they're so intelligent and they're interesting. And the men weren't as interesting or whatever. But anyway, it's fine. Not to say
Mocha said they were going to go on Thursdays to compete with the show the Kirk Franklin show.
Oh my gosh, I didn't watch that. My God.
So I got to catch up on that too. I haven't even had time to watch any of my shows. Anyway, and then Kamisha. Go ahead.
I got to go back to this last comment Mocha made.
Okay.
Because she said, I've been in my company for 26 years and I gave them my good years. Well, did you? Because this is one thing that I'm starting to realize. Like, I still feel as young as I did when I was in my 20s, but I'm not as stupid. And so now I'm like, yo, I can really do something with this information. Like, I have so many skills and so many things that I didn't know, right? So now it's like, oh, I know how to do a lot of stuff now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know how to be resourceful. I know how to, I just know how to pull stuff together. And now I'm like, yo, I can literally do anything. Like, I can find the information, figure out how to get the resources, and I could do whatever I literally feel like that. Like, there's a way to do it and I can find it. And I'm so good at that. So I feel like, even though you have served for a certain number of years, it's like you gained that amount too, because now you know what to do. You could actually go and do that anywhere and more because now you have the information. And it's so funny to me when people like half-ass or they don't do that great of a job just to like get it over with or whatever. It's like you're missing out on so much information. Like you learn something from everything that you do that you didn't know how to do before. So it's like, and I used to be mad. Like, you know what I'm talking about when I say this. I used to have this one boss who, and I love her. I love this lady, but she wasn't doing a lot of the work. Like, I was doing the work. And I remember when she ended up leaving, she said, I hope you're not going to be mad at me. And I was like, what are you talking about? And then later I found out that out of her like 24 like bullets of her job description, I was doing 21 of them. And I was, oh, that's why she said I was going to be mad, because her job description is being done by me. And she's only responsible for 3 things, 2 of which were behind, and I figured out how to do and quote those.
That is the queen of delegation. If I ever
listen,
you delegate your own responsibilities out.
She was going through a lot, and I still love her to this day. But I remember her saying that, and I was like, why would I be mad at you? And then I found out, like, oh, but it's funny because that was an opportunity for me to learn a lot of stuff. So I see what you're saying, Mocha. You give people your good years, but you get them too, right? Like, you get them too. Like, you learned about things. You were yourself. You get to say that I showed up as blank, and now you get to wear that as a badge of honor. So that's really cool. She's funny. Oh, I love that. I love that. I love that a lot.
I mean, for real, we got to remember too many passwords as it is, so I feel her on that.
Yeah, you can. You know what's funny? Your mother calls me the other week we were talking about like our exercise plans and stuff. She was like, what could I do? What could I do? And I stupidly said to her, like, why don't you just swim? And she was like, I can't swim. I be forgetting that. I'm like,
I didn't remember that.
But I was like, you could just learn. And she was like,
right.
Oh.
That
they have water aerobics.
Time to. Yeah, I think that should be. I think that's something she should do.
You could just learn. What did she was like, oh. She's like, I'm gonna look into that.
I think that'll be something.
She's talking about water aerobics too, which I know she can do. But I would feel more comfortable with her learning how to swim because even though it's water aerobics, you just never know what could happen. I would just feel more comfortable with her learning how to swim.
Well, I mean, I'm sure she's in the building for swimming, right? I'm sure they're gonna tell them something basic before they let them just get in the water, unless they're gonna be in 3 feet water. But I feel like she's gonna be in that vicinity, and so she's just gonna do it. She's gonna do it. I know your mother,
and she just puts her mind to something and she does it. It's just like, oh, I know how to paint. It's like so funny with her. Like she'll just be like, I'm gonna try this, and then she'll try it, and she's like really good at it. And it's like, oh, talent unlocked. Anyway, back to our topic. I'm really excited about the new season of Ready to Love. I secretly just love this. Not secretly. Outside. I love this show because it's people who I wouldn't otherwise get to meet, and they show up looking their best, just doing their thing, and I just love the representation of good-looking professional Black people, dating out here, and I just feel like it's good for us Blacks.
I really like this show. I think this probably is my favorite reality show. Because I like reality shows that are about love. Also, there's a Black Bachelorette coming up too at the end of the month. She's I think her name is Charity, but we'll go over that in another video. But I like the whole premise of this show. It's one of my most consistent shows that I talk about. But I am going to check into Married at First Sight because I heard that was interesting too. But so yeah, I can't wait about that. To come back July 7th. It's going to be on Fridays. So that's all I have to say about that. But what'd you say? You said do you watch Married at First Sight?
I heard about it because there was this clip, and I didn't know it was from there, but there was this clip of this lady talking about you need to buy me a house. She was talking to her husband, or I thought it was her husband. I thought they were married, or maybe they were. I don't know. It was a lady in a clip on IG, and she was talking to this man saying, yeah, you need to buy me a house because I'm gonna give you kids, or I give you kids, and I need to be able to say my husband bought me a house. And I partly was like, what are you talking about, lady? But then I partly was like, You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I want to be able to say that too. Like, my husband bought me a house. It's not about like gold digging, but it's about like provision. It's about like, oh yeah, and like since we're here, let me just go there. There's something about being in your feminine. Nothing screams being in your feminine like, oh, my husband bought me a house. Okay. Because it's like, oh, it's not even like I'm dependent on you, but it's like you're providing for me. And so I'm going to do something for you. You know what I'm saying? It's not like tit for tat, but it's like we can all make this work. You know what I mean? When somebody does something for you like that, you feel inspired.
You can have a better pregnancy in a house like that your husband bought versus Section 8 or whatever it is that the situation could be on the opposite end. So yeah, I get that. And apparently that joint is it seems like that joint is always on. Like I don't know if they take breaks on that show or what, because every time I turn around it seems like it's always just on. So I was like, I gotta check it out.
So she said it's a mess, but she said that was Kirsten and Shaq.
Yeah, I kept hearing their names around.
I gotta go and watch that. I haven't watched it. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next topic now.
All right, bye, Ready Love.
So we already covered this a couple weeks ago, and I felt so connected. I still do feel very connected to this story. Not sure why, because I don't know any of these people, but I feel okay. Here's why, I guess. It's because I do watch some of their circle. Like, okay, so let me just say this. Like, I don't want to be too long-winded, but I'll just try to be quick about it. So we all know Nick Cannon's Wildin' Out. Nick Cannon did a great job of creating that show and bringing together so many talented young Black comedians, musicians, and things like that. And they have a really good time on that show. Some of the people are standout people. DC Young Fly is one of them. And then he has what he calls the Wildin' Out Girls. And it just seems like you can kind of tell when somebody's like a good person. So out of that show also came, or to me, like I found out about B Simone, about obviously DC Young Fly, the whole 85 South crew. And I really identify with them. Like, it's our vibe. It's like a younger vibe. It's not like super young, but it's like hip hop. It's funny. It's just like what we identify with. Jackie O ran with B Simone's crew, and people that we know from watching, like the people in Atlanta that we are, subscribers of, entrepreneurs. So, what is her name? Ernestine. There's a couple people. I can't, their names are escaping me right now, but I follow them all. And so it's so funny because I'll see them on each other's pages. And so she was a part of the crew of the people who I love to see post. And so I feel somewhat connected to them because they were all on the same thing that we be on, which is positivity and God-fearing, and just like, we're gonna clown and we're gonna have a good time, we're gonna joke, we're gonna have a good, just be funny, but they're also very positive. And she was one of the ones that was always saying things like, you just gotta have good energy and be like this and da 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 da. So when she passed away, anyway, that was a long story, but when she passed away about a month ago, it was just crazy because she's only 32. She's a beautiful young lady. She has 3 young children with DC Young Fly, and that was just like a really sad thing. But then he spoke at her funeral, I think it was last week, and it was perfect because he was basically saying how he understands that God doesn't make mistakes and he's hurting, but he's going to be strong and all this. And he's like, I've been through a lot and this is not going to break me. But he was, but he also released a song. And I knew he could sing.
I didn't even know he could sing. Like, I didn't even know he could sing. I was like, what?
Yeah, I don't know if you get it. Can you hear it? Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, okay, wait. I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's pretty long, right?
No, but I heard it and I was just like, okay, because I didn't know he could sing. But like, he was one of those kids that had older parents. You ever went to school with somebody like that? Like, their parents
yeah.
So that was his parents were, I can't remember exactly how old they were, but they were older when they had him or whatever. So he, probably had to like do a lot of entertaining himself because they were so up or whatever. But those kids are, they're usually very smart and they do something really good or whatever. But like, he's going through a lot of backlash because I guess he's getting a lot of love from people. And then some people are like, well, I guess, he's looking too happy. You know what I'm saying? And so there was some conversation about that. But I'm like, when first of all, to be a comedian, they have a dark side because they have to always be funny. You know what I'm saying? So like, a lot of them, if you notice, like when Cat Williams and like people and Dave Chappelle, when they tell those stories, like, you can tell they have a dark side, but they also have to, they have been trained, they trained themselves to be funny. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In that situation, I don't know what people want. Like, he's not going to just I guess they want him to be like just
They want him
brought
to.
out the street or whatever. But
it's no way he can win. Like if he comes on there and starts crying, people are going to say something about that. If he's, it's like he's not living his life for people to judge. I just feel like people are so weird because.
But see, we do live in a culture that everything is everybody's fucking business. You know what I'm saying? And it's like if one of your coworkers decided to go blast their husband on Facebook, all that's gonna get thousands of comments and stuff because we just love the drama or whatever. But it also opens everybody up that doesn't have an opinion to now think that they're entitled to their little slice of opinion on your life. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that I will have to say, I think he's a very good orator. I thought that his speech was good. It must have been very hard to get up there at a time like this to actually have to speak because I couldn't even halfway talk at your damn wedding, let alone I couldn't imagine myself trying to say a whole speech at a funeral. So I know that has to take balls to do. And regardless of whether, everybody's like, oh, well, he didn't marry her, but he had the baby. But the point is, he had those kids with her. And they made those together. And I'm pretty sure that, this is tough. You know what I'm saying? But the one thing that I will say about his speech is that I would have liked to hear a little bit about her as a person. You know how at a funeral, they'll be like, they'll say something about what the person was going through or doing that we might not know about if we're not in their family or whatever. But I think that, like I said, to be able to get through any amount of a speech, I can't even really critique it that much because that must have taken balls or whatever. But I don't know what's going on, but there's some theories out there.
Okay,
but I like DC. I like the whole 85 South crew too or whatever. So I don't know. I'm just gonna sit back and watch and see what happens. But I didn't know he could sing.
I knew he could sing because he'll joke around sometimes with his voice and he'll be funny about it. But
I've heard that. Yeah.
But so when people do stuff like that, and you could kind of hear the tone, and it's like, oh yeah, you can actually sing. So that's how I knew he could sing. Now I didn't, is he out here making Beyonce albums? Probably not, right? But he's talented though. Now, as far as him though, and I was just getting ready to bring up this other person who I'm definitely not in agreement with, but I'm just gonna bring them up.
The dude that you sent me earlier in the week?
Yeah. I'm not in agreement with this person's point. Like, first of all, let me talk about what you just talked about. I think probably in her funeral, they probably did like the eulogy thing and they talked about her.
That's
and how
true. We probably didn't hear about that.
And I think when you get up there and you're just trying to keep it together, that's probably what he was doing. He also is a speaker for a living. So he, probably just had a couple points to hit. I don't even think he rehearsed it. He probably just was like, I'm gonna get up there and say something because people want me to say something. So I ain't gonna just not say nothing. Right. But I also think whatever he does that might look a little odd to us, I think anything he does might look a little odd to us, right? Because it's like you're watching somebody go through something you would never wish on anybody. And I mean, even the singing thing, right, could be thought of as weird because it's like, this isn't how we know you. Get back in your box. Like, I recognize you. Like make a joke, but you're not going to make a joke because it's not, you're not going through a funny time. But I agree that he
did manage to stick a joke in there.
He did. But comics are very dark. And I think about people like Robin Williams who give so much comedic poise to people, almost like an exchange of their existence. And then when they're not on, they're like close to dead. I think it was Chili's new boyfriend because I just watched the TLC. Joey's brother. Okay.
Who the fuck is Joey?
Joey from Blossom, I think. Joey. Okay, so but not Joey. So his brother was in Mrs. Doubtfire. He was a small kid. He was the little boy in Mrs. Doubtfire. So Chili is now dating him. I don't know this stuff. What is their last name? Joey. something. Anyway.
Buttafuoco? I don't know.
I don't know why I can't remember his last name. It's like I want a spot, so I can't remember. Anyway,
I can't remember where I got that from.
Joey Lawrence's brother. Yes. And why don't I even know his name? Because I should know his name. But anyway, Joey Lawrence's brother was in Mrs. Doubtfire as a child.
Okay.
And he was saying, there's a clip of him talking about how, I used to go into Robin Williams's like dressing room and he would be in there like this. And it's like, you think that, this person is so funny and they're joking all the time. They're probably just having a great time in their head and they're not. You know what I'm saying? And you just never know what he kind of trauma he's been through. But these people, I almost don't even want to play it, to be honest with you, but I'm going to play it.
I'm going to just say it like what it is. Nigga don't give a shit about them kids. What? He out here, bruh.
This is different. What the
nigga didn't marry their mama.
This is different.
Listen, hold on. Bruh. The nigga didn't marry their mama. Stuck 3 babies in her, never married
I think
her.
he's engaged.
Hold on. They never said that she was his fiance. They were like his partner.
They did.
When I watched the news, it went from partner to fiance. Niggas said a lot of shit when somebody dead. It was partner.
They also wrongly reported.
Let me finish.
Hold on. Let him
I didn't say one word.
Let him get his point on.
She was his partner. She wasn't his fiance. The nigga's lying. That's for publicity reasons. PR. You put 3 babies in her and you ain't married her yet. You don't give a shit about her and you don't care about them kids.
I do not.
What, man? Wait. Look, I didn't say that. Listen, bro. On everything I love, what nigga gonna let his kid's mama go under the knife unnecessarily? Surgery is a serious issue.
What if he?
Hold on. My wife had a minor surgery, bro. Very minor. I was stressed the fuck out. Like, are you sure they got to do this? Can they give you pills? It's like when it's your wife and you thinking about your kids and you thinking about, is something happened? You know she ain't going to the doctor like she's supposed to because she had an underlying heart condition that a regular EKG would have caught.
Is that what it was?
That's what killed her. That's what killed her.
I didn't know.
I go get my heart, all that checked every year. Every adult, even at 30, 25, should do that. So this lady is getting surgery from a doctor who was notorious for bad surgeries. She has an underlying heart condition, which means they wasn't on top of her health. He probably wasn't making sure she was going to the doctor like she supposed to. And then he lets her go do that. There's no reason why he should have let that girl do that. Because she's trying to do that shit probably because he out smashing other chicks. And she like, damn, I got to be able to compete with these chicks. Like, we talk about everything but except what it really is. She trying to keep up with that nigga. She trying to make sure she still looks attractive. So he look at her like something. And she's going and getting under the knife for that stuff. And people don't believe that. But when you was bad, like how she bad, and then you having babies and shit and your body start taking hits and your man out on the road smashing groupies and you know it because you know they know it. They know it.
You gotta know. Yeah.
You now are like, what about me? What do I gotta do to get him to look at me like he once did? That's on the man. And these women is out here choosing these goofball ass dudes because they got money. He's a damn goofball. And I can't call a man a goofball for being a comedian, but I can call a man a goofball for letting his damn baby mama go unnecessarily under the knife, knowing we ain't on top of her health, making sure she's 100% fit, knowing that if she go down, you got 3 kids who ain't got a mama. I'm not letting my wife do that. That's how I know she wasn't his wife.
It's kind of absurd to say that he don't care about his kids because of that. That don't even make sense. That's what I'm saying though. That's what I'm saying though. That's like somebody with a baby mama because they split up with their baby mama. Now I don't give a fuck about the kids no more. Like, what type of shit is that?
Some niggas don't.
But that's what I'm saying. But you can't just sit here and make an assumption that he don't care about his kids or care about her. And on top of that, by them having money or being in a financial space, he probably not thinking that this surgery is gonna go bad. I'm probably thinking I got the best doctors, I got the best shit. So I'm not thinking from a perspective of this is finna happen. I just think
history of bad reviews.
It don't matter. How did you even find this out?
I researched it.
You researched it.
Bro, I do a podcast every day.
I know. So you researched and found out that this was the baddest
The
doctor
guy
ever.
had a
And nobody would have warned them or told
The
them
guy
nothing
had-
about
Yeah,
this.
exactly.
Like,
I kind of find it hard
Just-
to believe because
right.
when
Look
you
it
got
up.
money, you're gonna pay for the best.
That's
And
what
and
people think.
I'm not pocket checking DC Young Fly, but I know he's not nobody. Bro.
And
You
even
get what I'm
more
saying?
Bro.
absurd is to be like, oh, she doing it to keep up
Pearl,
with bitches.
Pearl.
Listen, no, but listen.
I'm not gonna say
I
that's
respect.
absurd.
No, I do. I
Yeah.
respect your opinion. This is what I think. They don't live like us regular ass people. They don't, right? They live in Hollywood. They're on fucking TV every day. So her, again, what she's selling is her image, right?
Yeah.
She has to look a certain way at all times. And then what's even more ridiculous is for you to be like, how can he let her? You just said wholeheartedly that's not his wife. So basically, no, let me talk. He's supposed to have control of this baby mama. And listen, I can't stand, you're gonna have to die on that fucking hill. I don't stand on that. She doing this and doing that.
I mean,
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So what are you?
I want to go first.
Please
Okay.
go. Please
First
go.
of all, dude sounds ignorant. And the reason why he sounds, and listen, the definition of ignorance is you just don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I get he did have a couple of points, you know what I'm saying? As far as like, people should get checked at the doctor or whatever. But he doesn't know what kind of thought process they have or had. Like, they're not going to think like you. And if he knows so much about that stuff, like, I feel like he should know a little bit more about health overall before he starts, because he was going deep. He was going and
He was.
piecing stuff together. Oh, this looked like it plugs in here because he made all these assumptions about why she was doing it or whatever. Now, the other point that he had was this doctor. Now, the doctor, I am surprised that she picked that doctor, because I would have thought that she would have like picked somebody better. You know what I'm saying? Because he did have a lot of bad reviews. So that part I am shocked about. And I'm also, as far as the case, I didn't hear about, because they said that she died after she got to the wherever her aftercare room or her hotel was. I think it was in a hotel. But who was with her? Who ended up being with her?
So I don't know that. I don't know who was with her. I think it was so shocking because she was so young. I was just thinking
Well,
that
see,
I
but
wasn't
the
sure.
thing
I
is-
wasn't. The reason. Okay, let me just say this.
When they do surgery period is dangerous. And when they do those types of surgeries, the age ain't nothing. You
And
know what
some
I'm saying?
people are completely healthy, and then something just goes weird on the table, and so that's why people.
But this one didn't happen on the table. It happened after she had been checked out and everything.
I remember when this happened. Well, this didn't happen. I don't know what happened, but I remember
she
when
died in a
something
hotel after
similar
surgery.
in the same family happened to Donda West,
Mhm.
Kanye West's mother, and it's like, I hate that people are so judgmental because no one ever thinks that this is going to end their life. They're doing something that they feel like, okay, once I do this, I'll be happier, right?
And
it's like, this is for me. And you don't think like that. And like, honestly, people die in car accidents. People die
from being overweight. You know what I'm
choking.
saying?
People die. You could be eating your dinner and choke and die. You know what I'm saying? Like, people die from just.
That's why I think he went a little bit too hard. Like, but
so there's another reason, and I didn't want to make it too personal, but he did not look like the picture of health. I also feel like he went too far without recognizing that these are human beings, and there's a reason why I played that clip, because people say things like this, and I do think that he had some sort of like valid inquiries. But even if you had those thoughts, there's a way to express them without going so hard. You got to realize there's a family, there's a community of people in pain because they just lost someone. And for somebody to express these thoughts that are so, what do I want to say? Speculatory. And while the wound is so open and raw, and like you have no idea how that's gonna hit them, and you're just making commentary on the internet because that's what you do, and that's fine. But like, that's super harmful to people. I just feel like that was so wrong. And and I sent that to you, and I was like, I hate that he has points, because I think he did have points. Like, this is kind of like a thing for me when people have multiple children by a person and they're not married, and everybody has their own reasons, but it's like there are like lawful things in place that, like, if he were to pass away, she might have some trouble getting ownership of his estate and things like that. So I do think that people should be mindful of that when they have a family and they're operating as a family and they're not legally married, because there are protections that are in place for, you know, when you marry, as opposed to just having children and having, you know, like a living situation. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I feel like he may have even had some valid points there that he could have expressed in a more loving way. But I feel like that was so rude to say when somebody passed away and a whole community is suffering. It's like,
I think he went way too deep on it, and but he's a podcaster and he made sure to let everybody know that, and that saying, you know, sometimes saying things that other people won't say, especially on somebody else's platform, you know, it gives you whatever he's looking for or whatever. But I also wanted to say shout out to Nika at Night, because that is her, I think that's her Instagram. And she posts a lot of stories about things like this, and I'm pretty sure the comments on that John are
them Joe's probably fire. And I appreciate, and I even appreciate people, you know, sharing their, I'm not trying to get too even bad on him, because I'm sure he was just, you know, this is probably how he talk every day, but it's just, I think it's an example to look at, that, you know, just because you have it, and I'm taking it too, just because you have an opinion on something doesn't mean that it doesn't have an effect somewhere. And this is just a weird situation because the person has passed away. So everything you say.
But I just want to play devil's advocate real quick. Okay, so I do get that, right? I do get that. And I don't agree with him at all. But it's kind of like, well, we can't in turn be like, well, we want you to talk like this and say this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
Being himself, while I don't agree with it, because the last thing that I do, even if I had, you know, I would never say anything about the ill about the dead, because I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. You know what I'm saying? And so, that's his cross to bear. But you know, I guess it's a lane for him. You know what I'm saying? People, he probably had some supporters in that, whatever. But it was rude and it was insensitive. And, you know, if something, you know, because something can happen to any of us. It doesn't have to be just because she had surgery. You know what I'm saying? That's like people who don't eat pork walking around, you know, trying to tell people how bad they're doing eating pork and stuff like that. But then, you're overweight and you just eat chips all day or whatever it is that you eat. Like, it's okay, you know, people are not going to do everything that you do. There's benefits to some stuff, and there's, you know, consequences to some stuff, like the surgery. But I don't know. In a time like this, if you're coming out to say something negative, it does seem like a clout chase. You know what I mean? So
yeah. So it's weird. And I gotta put Mocha's comment. Hold on, her last comment. She said he dragged him in his breast all over social media. That was hilarious. So yeah, we'll leave that there. I feel like, you know, there's a lot. Like, I think that especially when you're in the spotlight and people are taking photos of you all the time, it's a constant reminder that you're not where you want to be. And like, I know I catch glimpses of myself in the mirror all the time. And I'm like, oh, you really got to get in the gym. You got to do this. You got to do that. So you never know what somebody's thinking about themselves. And we just have to have some grace, because certainly this was not planned. It was a mistake. Like, it happened, and it was like, you know, it's a tragedy. So like, have some respect. That's all I'm saying. And I get what you're saying. Everybody has freedom of speech, but
I mean, because they did say the same thing about Kanye's mom too. They was like, "Oh, she was a sacrifice." Da, da, da.
Oh yeah, that's what they were talking about in the comments. Not in those comments, but they were saying like, "Oh, that was a sacrifice for Illuminati." Now, listen, I'm not all the way. Like, I do believe in Illuminati to some degree, but you just come on, like, not everybody in Illuminati. Like, I get come on, guys. DC Young Fly is not that famous. I feel like
that's what they're saying, that now he's about to blow up.
Well, let's see. And you know what? If he does, I'd still support him, but I don't think he's in the Illuminati. But I don't know either. I don't know. But like,
I don't know either. I don't know anything about that. So
it's just like so weird to me, because it's like, who says this?
I do say that there are a bunch of nefarious things going on in Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? And it's strange things that happen. And has anybody heard an update on our boy Jamie Foxx.
No, they're cloning him. No,
That's
let me stop. But I did see that Tank, and he did not sing our song.
Which one?
The one about
Off
your hands. He did not sing our song. I'm so upset. But he sang a lot of stuff, and Luke James was on that Joe singing.
Luke James he can sing.
Brooke Valentine too. I don't know who the other guy was, but he was singing as well. But Brooke Valentine had a hit a long time ago, and I remember she came out the same time as Keisha Cole, and I remember being a fan of hers. Anyway, on to the next news, because we actually have a main topic that I'd love to get to. This is not it though, but this is just big shout out to Tyler Perry for acquiring yet another piece of America. I feel like Tyler Perry is getting reparations for us. You know what I'm saying? He's just brewing a stew of reparations. He got a pot of reparations cooking at his joint, and we're gonna come to the reparations cookout one day down in Atlanta. Tyler Perry and his Beijing. What is that? I love me some Tyler Perry though. Like, I'll never forget you introduced me to his plays, but I love me some Tyler Perry.
Got me through a whole bunch of good times.
Man, I'm about to go back and look some up. You think they on YouTube?
They are. They most definitely are, because I've looked them up, because I used to have the DVDs, and one day I was sitting there, I was like, I wonder if you can look up plays on YouTube. I watch plays on YouTube all the time, but yeah. I think I might have,
His plays are bomb, young. Anyway,
Tyler Perry, I still don't know all the words to the songs that I like. But anyway, go ahead.
Has success. This is news. This is breaking. This is not breaking news, but it's being reported that he's acquired BET and VH1, making him the first African American to own two major television networks. And they're saying here, Fox 5 is saying, except no one knows if it actually happened. I don't know if it actually happened either, now that they're questioning it, but you know, I would like to think that it did. And
the word on the street, reportedly, allegedly, he's done that, but who knows?
If anybody were gonna do it, it'd be him. And I can't imagine why this news would be breaking if it weren't. I mean,
they could all get into a group and do a bunch of different damage in Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? But who knows what really even goes on in Hollywood? It's all smoke and mirrors to us. We don't know.
Well, I would hope that he owns those, that a black person owns those, because a lot of black people are featured on those channels, and people are loving black people's swag, and they watch us, but then they do real Karen-like activities, even though we're drinking in our culture. So anyway, that's another story.
Yeah, so we'll just continue to look for more information on that, because that would be awesome.
Speaking of Karen-like activities, I'm going to skip to this story because this was so wild to me.
Ridiculous.
This lady walks into this guy, and it was an Airbnb, but she walks her ass into this Airbnb where this person was staying, and was videotaping him. And so here's the thing that bothers me, because when these Karens act like this, and then she does things like this, and it's like, I would have loved to just grabbed her ponytail and slung her around a little bit. See how that felt on the tongue?
Okay, so it was an Airbnb. Okay, but I did watch the video. I did not read the comments and stuff though, because apparently the door was unlocked or something, and she just walked right on in there and started filming.
Do you see this comment? I love that you can put gifts on stuff now, because that's what I would have loved to have done to her. And
that's what Mocha just said too.
When things happen like that, then those people are wrong for doing those things to them.
If it was the other way around and some black person walked into somebody's Airbnb like that, they would not have been able to like skip away like that. So
no, and it's so interesting. I mean, it's not interesting to me. It's actually irritating. But there was another Karen. I mean, listen, there were no shortage of Karen stories. But like, just look at how she's operating. Like, she just feels so entitled to be able to walk in somebody's house like she didn't do nothing wrong. That's so irritating to me. And that's why I feel like those people should be snatched up. But, you know, I'm not trying to get violent out here. I just feel like that's so rude. But then when stuff like that happens to other people, like when the breaking news would have been some woman was assaulted by a black by a black man in his own Airbnb. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, and then I heard about that lady who got shot because she went to go confront her neighbor about the kids. This is in Florida. I didn't even want to cover that story. I was thinking about putting it on our list, but it's just so many things like this.
That could have been anybody. That could have been a person who works for Uber Eats. That could have been a person who works for DoorDash. That could have been the mailman. Anybody who would have to walk up to somebody's door and knock on it, that could have been them. That was ridiculously sick.
I want to play this one too, because this is what they do to the police. Look at this lady.
Did she spit in his face?
I don't think so. She's just way too close. And she's probably, I don't know, she looks drunk.
That is unheard of.
He's just like, okay, this lady is wild. But if that was somebody black, he would have mushed her. He would have mushed her. And to see the thing to me that's so appalling about this is that people do so, like, you could do so little and get pulled over by the cops, and people's, like, you know, answer to that is, well, just follow the rules and you won't get pulled over. It's like, well, that's not true. But if you do follow the rules and you get pulled over, and they're like, well, just follow whatever they say and you won't get hurt. And it's like not their fault. People could like reach for their wallet and get shot. Meanwhile, this lady is damn near assaulting this cop.
Right.
And he's just like, okay, lady. I just really want him to smack her around a little bit. Like, yeah. G.K. Owens. I hope I'm saying her name correctly.
She had a Ring doorbell too. That is crazy. That lady was sick. That lady
is wild. Anyway, I'm not trying to piss nobody off too bad. Let's go over to our next. This one's kind of funny, and then we'll go on to our last comment. Our last topic. This is wild. I've never seen such a thing in my life.
I had to watch it again. I watched it, and then I was looking at her dress and stuff, and I wasn't even really paying attention to him at first. And I was like, well, what are they trying to show? And then I played it over again, and I saw him looking at his damn phone, walking down the aisle. Like,
now are they walking? It looks like they're walking out of the church.
I don't give a fuck which way they're walking. Yeah. Why is he in his phone?
Why are you in? Who the hell are you talking to?
This is your wedding day. What are you doing?
I can only imagine he's texting somebody that's supposed to be outside to surprise his wife with something. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. But like, you should have had somebody. You got a best man or something.
I don't care whether they about to go to the bathroom and he about to hold her flowers while she go pee. He should not have his phone out right here and there. They're still inside of the church house with everything. Like, no.
Wait, let's think about some things. Who the fuck is he texting? What is he doing? Okay, he could be transferring money.
Football Sunday. No, I don't care. No,
he's transferring money to another account so they can have a good time on their honeymoon. What else could he be doing? He's texting Jesus. Thank you so much for my beautiful wife.
And he got his peripherals on point. He's moving out everybody's way. Just, you know what I'm saying? No, that's unacceptable. Like I said, I don't care where they on their way to. Like, come on. You can do that.
I had no idea. Like,
and whoever has the camera in front of them, they can see them. So, like,
I'm so appalled by this behavior. But you know what? I will say this. I've noticed, and maybe it's just that I'm noticing this, but there are an alarming number of like assaults and like stabbings and stuff over cell phones. Like, these kids in these schools are like attacking their teachers, pepper spraying them, stabbing them. There's a lot of stuff. This lady, these two girls like killed their mom.
That was crazy.
There's a bunch of stuff happening over cell phones, and it makes me feel like people are, you know, really addicted to their cell phones. It's like you can't live your life without your cell phone.
I've never seen anything like that. Like,
that's wild. Like, that's an addiction for you. That's an addiction. Like, you feel like your cell phone is a part of you, a part of your brain, or a part of your life, and you can't live without it. Like, people have died for less. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you think about people who get like lost in the wilderness, and they like, or they get stuck between a rock and they like cut their own arm off. So you gonna kill somebody for a cell phone? Get out of here. You can replace a cell phone. You know they'll replace it if it's 2 years old. They'll give you a free one.
Listen. I can't. I gotta take breaks from mine. Like, especially if I'm in the house. I remember when the pandemic had first started. It was a lot of times where I didn't know where my cell phone was or whatever. I was like, oh, it's over here. You know what I mean? But that's a little bit excessive right there. No. Next topic.
All right, guys. This one's gonna be real. I'm gonna just say, We'll just go ahead and go through this, but this next topic I feel is going to be a little polarizing because I don't know what to say. We're just gonna get into it now.
I'm on the edge of my seat. What is it?
I'm gonna play the video. The first video that I saw.
Okay.
And we're gonna go from there. So it's funny when you have a show like this because you don't want to. This is my disclaimer, everyone. We struggle with. You don't want to show certain things that are like unfortunate or
undesirable or nothing like that.
We're not trying to make this an example or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't want to give too much credence or like weight to certain topics, right? Like, but I think it's important that we see things the way that I saw them so that we can kind of talk about it and really have an open and honest conversation because these things are happening all over the place. But I just want to
I know what you're talking about now. Okay.
So I'm gonna share, everyone. Oh wait, let me escape. Okay, I don't know how to share. Okay, wait, I'm getting ready to share now. Let's just talk about this. Let me take this comment down, and then let me share this.
Stop, man.
Yeah, this one. Okay, everyone. See if we can watch this full screen. Oh, this is as big as it gets.
Oh my!
Oh, see already. Yeah.
Now that we watched that, and I wanted to watch the whole thing purposefully first, so that's the whole thing at first. Okay, get your let's get your thoughts on that.
So when I first saw it, they were talking about. I think they're saying that he.
This is YK Osiris and Sukihana.
So he basically sexually assaulted her, is what they're saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's all I saw. And then, but it kind of makes me think about how it's a lot of stuff that she's put out, and that it kind of goes to show how you carry yourself or what you put out there is what you get back. Now, it's not condoning the way that somebody treats you, but you want to try to be preventative as much as possible, when it comes to stuff like that. So, a lot of stuff that I've seen of her, she probably was okay with that. You know what I'm saying? But then I saw a little piece of something else before that. Do you have that video too?
I do.
Like, oh, okay. He did apologize.
Yeah, I'm gonna play that next because what I realize is that the reason I know who Sukihana is because she's known for making these bold and sexual statements. We actually covered something with her a few weeks back when she was on Jason Lee's show, and she was talking about peeing on someone and how she's actually known as Suki with the good coochie, and she makes these bold statements. Now, I just want to go on record to say that that's not illegal, and that's not whether it be frowned upon by many or whatever, you never know. And this is what I want to say. I do get the vibe from her that she's an entertainer. And I do get from some of the things that I've seen that she could be a sweet girl. She's just trying to express herself. She's a mom of 3. And I think that, and she's 30 or something like that, maybe 31. I think that there is this fascination with people with reality TV, and they see this is the blueprint. You just get on a reality show and you make a name for yourself, and then you can make money that way. And I feel like she kind of is that person where we see Cardi B, right? Cardi B doesn't necessarily make statements like that, like Sukihana does, but I don't know. I haven't followed everything Cardi B says, but Sukihana is known for making comments, and she's known as Suki with the good coochie, and she says it herself. She says a number of things. She's out there, and this is not to put her in a space where she, in no way am I saying she deserves to be assaulted. That was really
Of
gross.
course
When
not.
I saw
I think it was reaching for them to say that without, like, see, this is watching Ready to Love, you know, makes me think about what did we not see? Like, what part are we missing? Because that wasn't the whole thing. And again, it's not condoning it, but it just goes to show that you can send mixed signals. You can send, you know, the wrong signal to somebody or whatever. And I feel like you have to know how to do that, how to communicate so that stuff like that doesn't happen if it's not supposed to happen. Now, again, people are crazy, but I think he felt like he got a green light and then it was like kind of backfired on him or whatever.
Now, okay, let me say this, because I feel the need to say, like, people get assaulted for less. And I know that, you know, acting and speaking in a certain way is not like an invitation to be assaulted. When I first saw the video, I was like, ew, gross. Like, it did look like she was
like, what are you doing?
Yes, it looked like she was grossed out. I was really kind of appalled at the people around her, like, that they didn't stop it. But then I realized that the one guy next to her that has that one podcast where he like kind of like not catfishes people, but I forget his name. I'm so bad at this because I literally
I didn't recognize who was right beside her.
So she was right beside Lil Duval, was on her left. And then this other guy who does I want to say breakbeat media comes to mind. He does all of these like interviews and they almost look like they're like staged, and he like makes these things up and he says them to people and they have this like stuck face like it's a spoof or something. It's like he's saying the wrong things and they're like, what are you talking about? Like, that's his whole deal. And I cannot remember his name right now. It's escaping me because I need to know it. But he looked and he was shocked, and I actually will take it back a little bit because this was actually quite interesting. It was at this point in the video. Okay, I don't know if okay, right? He's clearly shocked. Then later in the video, he says, "Oh, she likes that. She likes that." Like, he was like, "Oh my God!" It's like he knew it shouldn't be happening, but nobody did anything. And I thought that was weird, but I also realized that like they, as YK Osiris, have gotten mixed messages. Now, not to say that people who send mixed messages should be treated this way, but I will say that I believe studies would show that if you say something different than what you believe or what you want, right, like that's confusing. And I think that there has to be some accountability taken. Okay, let me go to
say anything. Has she said anything?
Okay, let me show you her. I was very saddened by this comment because when I saw her comment, I felt so bad. Let me show you her comment first.
Let me just
make me sad. This is her comment. It made me sad. She says, "I drink to hide that I'm very sensitive. I feel things more than the average person. I stopped drinking yesterday, but today I've been crying all day. I asked God to strengthen me and use me to help others to order my steps in His word. I just want to go away for a while." I understand that feeling because it's sort of shameful and it's sort of like, you know, I feel like this is a real moment from her. I don't think this is like a gimmick or a publicity stunt. I think she really was being vulnerable in sharing this. But I also feel like she's probably taking a little bit of a, like, how did I get here moment. And it's kind of sad because, you know, in a perfect world, you can go and say and do what you want. And nobody's going to do anything. And everybody knows how to act. But then here's what YK Osiris says. "I wanted to publicly offer my sincerest apology to Sukihana." And this is very PR. Somebody wrote this for him. I'm imagining. "In an attempt to be playful, I misread the moment and violated Sukihana's boundaries. I understand the importance of consent, and I'm embarrassed by my behavior. I take full responsibility. I've made multiple attempts to apologize. I have the utmost admiration for Sukihana, and it was never my intention to disrespect her." Now, I don't believe that he... Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. I should have been showing this. This is his statement. However, I don't think he wrote that, and I don't know that he meant it, just because in the moment he was laughing, and the people who were recording the video seemed to be laughing. The people around them were laughing. She did not seem to be laughing when it was happening, but it was like, it's embarrassing. Like, this happened to her in front of everyone. So I think she was probably embarrassed. But I do want to go into the video that I saw after I saw that video that happened before that video. So let me just play that now.
Because now I'm just going to say I'm confused. Like, okay, I hear her statement. I can relate to it. But just like Mocha said, like some of the things that I've actually seen her do, it's just like, I really want to know what else, like, was she talking to this specific situation? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, go ahead.
All right, so I'm going to share this tab and I'm going to put on the volume.
You with the right one, nigga. Yeah, you will, baby girl. It's a tattoo. I think it's the tattoo. I know I've seen some neck drip right there before.
Oh my God.
Okay. What's your reaction to this?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm confused, because that's why I want to know, how did she feel about the situation that happened after that? Because it seemed like she was telling him, "I'll wear your ass out.
Turn your ass out." Now, this is the major
away from me.
This is the major issue I have, because
while I coming hard, they need to stop. He probably misread it.
I don't condone. Obviously, we don't condone assault, but I think it's very confusing to people when you're a beautiful.
Like, how are we supposed to know you need help?
You're a beautiful, sexy woman. You have your body parts out. You're known for saying these salacious things. And I think he may have taken that as an invitation. And I'm only speaking this way because of my nephew, who is about 3 years younger than this man right here. This guy is 24 years old, YK Osiris. And, you know, that's not a lot of life experience, to be honest with you. I think he misread it. I think by the time he got to the point where it was too much, it was too late. And I'm not trying to like take his side or whatever, but I will just say, I was also confused.
Like I'm saying, as a woman, right? If we were all three out, me, you, and her, we all at the club, how are we supposed to know when you need help?
I'm just saying.
I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
I thought you liked that kind of stuff. And it's like, it's sad to me because
that's why I want to know if she addressed the specific situation with her own words towards the situation instead of something like subliminal or whatever, because I just can't. I don't know. I'm confused.
I'm confused too. So that's where we'll leave that, because I'm confused. You're confused. YK Osiris was confused. And apparently Sukihana was confused. And everybody at the table was confused. Look at this man's face over here. What is his name?
I can't see it.
I forgot his name. Let me see if I could
let me put on my damn glasses. Who is that?
This is hilarious. I'm talking about him. Oh, you can't see my cursor. But like, you see YK Osiris and you see Lil Duval. Look at the guy in the purple next to Sukihana. That's the one with the stuck face that I showed earlier. Now that's the guy who be on Breakbeat Media, and he just be making spoofs of people. Like, he's really funny.
Oh, you hit your little head. I'm sorry.
Oh, but everybody's confused. Nobody knows what to do, because again, when you say words and you put things out there that are not aligned with what you are attracting, it's confusing. It's like we learned this in the video we just recently saw. When you say up and point down, people don't like that. Like, it's going down. Like, no, your brain doesn't want that. Your brain doesn't like that to happen. Okay, it's just like, it's going down tonight. No, stop pointing up. It's not what you're saying. What you're saying, what you're doing are not in alignment. And so I think this is a clear example of the detriment of doing that. I feel bad that she went through this, but I think and I hope that, you know, that everyone will learn from this and move along. I feel really bad that happened to her, because I'm sure she's embarrassed. It's an embarrassing thing.
But okay, and this may sound really crazy, but I don't think she's embarrassed. Like, what happened that embarrassed her compared to the other stuff that she's done or shown herself?
Well, somebody
showed
put
herself
their hands on you, so she did.
But this is the thing. So somebody did touch her in a way that she looked like she was inviting it. I just feel like that would make a person who is modest and never gets touched like that in public or whatever feel ashamed. I don't think that she's embarrassed by that. Like, she made herself throw up with, certain actions online, and she's done a lot of things that I don't know. That's why I want to hear her speak directly to the situation, because that last video that we saw, it looks like they were both going back and forth. You know what I'm saying? And she was, I don't know. I'm still confused. I'm confused too.
I just put up a couple of Mocha's comments because they were all right on point. And I just feel like this last one is really kind of what I would end on, is that this is why as women, we have to do better, because, and I'll even take this one on the chin for her, because I don't feel like anybody should have put their hands on her. But at the same time, she was on this other show, on Candy's show, like the podcast, like the After Dark, I think it's called. And this guy was like talking about like, smelling her and all this stuff, smelling her private parts and eating her butt. There was all this weird stuff happening. And she expressed discomfort in that moment, but you can't switch it on and off like that.
And she also twerked on a little 10-year-old boy in one of her videos. So I'm just finding it, I'm confused. That's all I'll say. I don't want to go into a whole bunch of,
Yeah, I don't want to create a narrative that she deserved this to happen, because But I mean, we're not creating that narrative. People are saying things like that. But we're just trying to make the point that when you say something that is out of alignment of what you desire, right? Like, you're saying something that is out of alignment with what you desire. You cannot then turn around and be shocked that you received what you spoke. The words have power, and you cannot do that. It doesn't work. Like, studies have shown. Okay. And so this is a study, and let this be a study. Luckily, it doesn't look like she was harmed, but but
that's why I want her to, I don't want to take, like I said, that post as like, dude apologize, but it's like, I imagine that he has to be thinking, you really got me out here looking like a creep. But a woman should be able to dress however she wants, and people should be able to keep their hands to themselves or whatever. But like, I don't know, like I said, you are in charge of at least letting us know what it looks like when somebody's supposed to step in, because nobody
knew.
Somebody looked like, that dude looked like what, but it wasn't, nobody looked like,
nobody was ready. Everybody was confused, including the viewers. Like, I'm still confused. And I just feel like, this is the type of thing that happens. Like, and I keep saying studies have shown, which I'm standing behind, but this is another study. And so, like, this is what does not work. If you're trying to be this, like, hands off, give me my respect, don't touch me type of individual, you got to watch what you say. Because that's how it works, unfortunately.
I will say, it is also odd that he would go over there and do that, because usually what keeps like celebrities and stuff from doing stuff like that is that they don't want other people that they're dealing with to know that kind of stuff, right? but he was excited to go and just.
Well, Mocha said that she had made comments about him before. I didn't know that. But also, here's another thing that I think is really odd for people to do, especially like I know that there's a whole market out there for shock jocks and saying all this stuff, but like you gotta be careful when you don't have security. Like I remember when because I used to watch the Kardashians back in the day. I don't watch them anymore, but I used to find them. I don't.
I'm so shocked.
It's weird because I don't know. After the whole Kanye thing went down, I was like, oh, you're definitely culture vulturing. But I knew that for a long time, but I still found them interesting. But like after the whole Kanye thing went down, it just felt weird. I don't know. It's not like I'm banning them or anything like that, because I am interested in what happens with the Black Dashians. I'm so interested in the Black Dashians. When I say Black Dashians, guys, that's a term that I've coined for the Black children who have come up after the
Black Dashians,
the first level of Kardashians.
I mean, but they are the Black Dashians.
They're the Black Dashians, and I am interested in what happens to them. I think they're so cute, and I think they're so intelligent. The Black Dashians, and I also have respect.
Black Dashians.
I also respect the Kardashians because they've basically created the American dream. You know what I'm saying? They weren't like builders or inventors or creators, writers or anything like that. They just created business right in front of our eyes, and they continue to do that. And I think that's fascinating. Anyway, the whole point is this. I feel like I remember this. I remember when Kim first started to get some traction in the media. Like this was like, so when they first started, I think it was like 2007 when their first season came out, the Keeping Up with the Kardashians. It was like a 30-minute show at that point, and Kylie and Kendall was still like 10 and 12 or something. And it was probably like a couple of years later that Kim started to get some fame, and her mom was like telling her that you need security because you can't just be walking around anymore. You're not just like, but here's the thing that happens with a lot of these celebrities from the Black reality shows is that they get fame, but then they don't have money, or maybe they do have money, but they don't not spending it on security. But I just think there is a level between like a certain amount of fame where people know who you are and they can see you on TV and you being accessible, that I think there's a danger zone there, because like a regular person could just be walking home from work and somebody could observe that you walk home from work at the same time every day. And if I'm a killer and I want to harm you, you know what I'm saying? I could just walk right up to you. But when you're on television or when you're on social media or whatever, and people know who you are, I think that that's a real thing that people have to really take into consideration. If you're giving out your whereabouts, or people know you're going to be at the basketball game or whatever, and you don't have security, that's a problem. I think people need to really be concerned about that. I've been saying that for years, though.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But anyway, I think she's okay, everybody. I mean, I'm
not going to make any judgment on it until I hear her actually reference the situation for real, because I don't think it's anything to see here. I mean, now I'm saying it like that in the sense that between him and her, and whether she really had a problem with him doing it, overall, no, it's not okay to just walk up to somebody and just grope them or kiss them or do whatever. No, it's not. In this specific situation with these two people, I don't know that it was that.
Here's the other thing that I gotta say, because there's so many victims in this story, everyone. I look at YK Osiris and I look at his little face and I feel like
he's a little boy.
He's not a victim, but he's 24 years old. And I feel like, I feel like this, like somehow, and I'm not going to say nobody told him better, because somebody told his little self, look at him, look at those ears. Somebody gets emotional on that young man. Somebody cares for him. And he did not know, or he did not act upon the knowledge that you can't just go up touching these hoes. Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to say it like that. But you just can't do that. And no matter how they display the fruits, they might not be fruit. You gotta just keep your hands to yourself. And so there's so many victims in this story. I'm one. I feel so confused. So I'm calling myself a victim.
Yeah, I'm confused too, man.
But I feel like he was so confused. I'm not saying that he was right, and yeah, sure, he should have known better. But I can name situations in my life where I should have known better and I didn't, but they weren't filmed, so it never happened. You know what I'm saying? But for him, I just look at his little stupid face. Look at that little face.
Yeah,
he didn't know. He didn't know, and I feel like he is used to women wanting his advances. Yeah, he's famous. He's a rapper. So it's like, I just feel like this was a lesson for a lot of people.
Watching Ready to Love has me realizing that it's a part. It's just we just didn't see everything. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I don't condone it overall. But just for this specific two people, I don't know what's going on right here.
Yeah.
So that's all.
It's wild. Well, guys, that's our show for tonight. I am so grateful to be able to hang out with my sister and just have these conversations. There's a lot more topics we have coming. We still have to talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta, okay? Because King is on some crazy stuff. I got to talk about that later, but we're going to catch up on Summer House. I got to catch up on Married at First Sight. And we'll be back next week with another lot of topics. Like, these topics just don't stop coming. It's like people are out here doing crazy shit in these streets every day. So we'll never run out of topics, folks.
Do not forget to follow. Subscribe to my sister. Her link.
Thank you, Mocha.
Thank you, Mocha. Shout out to you. But definitely go and follow Mocha as well. She has a channel where she does some recaps and things like that. Don't forget to follow me on my other channel, by Demita Joe, where I help women create healthier habits through fitness and mindset. So anyway, that's all I got for y'all today. We're gonna wrap this little meeting up, and then we're gonna see y'all again next week. All right.
Bye.
Bye.